Back with our conversation with British Ambassador Charles Hay, and we have a lot of messages sent in by our listeners. They're so excited. 박혜정님 says, "Wow, 대사님 반갑습니다. 여기는 부산입니다. 마치 이웃집 아저씨 같은 친근함이 느껴지네요. 고향 친구 같이." 박혜정님 is from Busan, and she feels like you're like her next door neighbor. She feels like you're her hometown friend.
Oh, that's very kind indeed.
Yeah. So I guess a lot of people now listening from Busan will recognize you when you come there. 0117님 says, 대사님, 안동에 대한 좋은 인상을 갖고 계시는군요. 안동 찜닭, 하회마을, 안동 시민으로 정말 반갑습니다. 안동 오시면 맛있는 찜닭 같이 하시죠. 0117 wants to treat you to Andong Jimdak when you come there. Maybe you should give our listener a call when you do.
Yeah, I'd love that.
And also 9915님 says, 여기는 대구입니다. 대사님 반갑습니다. 초등학교 3학년 딸이 영국에서 제일 유명한 음식이 무엇인지 궁금하다고 해요. 그리고 한국 여행은 해보셨나요? 추천하고 싶은 곳이 있으신지요? Well, we talked about the traveling part in Korea, so could you answer this question? A third grader wants to ask you, what is the most famous food from England?
Well, I think it has to be fish and chips.
Fish and chips, of course. Yeah, so fish and chips, it's like fried French fries with chips almost, right?
French fries with fish in either batter or breadcrumbs. But if it's done well, it can be extremely... So you were talking earlier about Korean fried chicken. Well,
Yeah.
I think maybe fish and chips is the same. You can get bad ones or you can get good ones, and the good ones are fantastic.
Yeah, you can get fish and chips here in Korea too sometimes. So basically, yeah, it's like deep fried fish with French fries
Yeah.
with tartar sauce. That's
exactly.
really delicious. 서범금님 says, what's your favorite soccer team? Maybe from the UK or from Korea?
That's a tricky one. I try not to get... The trouble is in Britain, football is so emotive that if you start talking about individual teams, then you just end up having lots of arguments. So I love watching all football. Let's put it like that.
Okay, well, mentioning football, actually, you know, a lot of Korean players have played in the Premier League, right? We have Park Ji-sung who played in the Manchester United. And we also have his fellow soccer players like Lee Chung-yong, Ki Sung-yong, and Son Heung-min. So how big are these Korean players in the actual UK football scene?
Well, Park Ji-sung was a legend at Manchester United, and he appeared, I think, over 200 times, and he scored 27 goals, I think it was. So he was the one who really, I think, showed the people, not just of Britain, but globally, about the quality of Korean football players. And he was in the side that won the Premier League 4 times and the Champions League. So he was an absolute legend. And as you say, at the moment, there are 3 South Korean footballers playing in the Premier League. So Lee Chung-yong at Crystal Palace, Ki Sung-yong at Swansea, and best known, I think, must be Son Heung-min at Tottenham Hotspurs. And Son Heung-min is having a great season, and he's already scored 10 goals this season for Spurs.
Yay! Go Son Heung-min. And of course, all the other football players. Yeah, we say football in England or in Australia, I think also in Canada, but in America, it's the same sport, but we call it soccer, right?
I believe so.
Yes. But you know what? I did my research and I found out that the term soccer was actually coined by a British man.
Well, the rules for football, or association football, as it should properly be called, were indeed made in Britain. But if you look at modern sports, almost all modern sports, their rules were written in the UK, whether it's tennis or rugby or football or cricket or squash or pretty much any sport you care to mention, apart from obviously baseball. We invented the rules. That doesn't mean that we're necessarily the best at playing them these days, but we did invent them.
I see. Well, other than football players, K-pop is also another huge industry taking the world by storm these days. But what about the UK then? Are Korean popular bands also popular there?
They are, absolutely. And when I got the very good news that I was going to be coming here as ambassador, I broke the news to my 2 children, and they said, Korea, where's that? And I said, well, you know, Psy. And they said, oh, yeah, Psy. Because at the time, Psy was a huge hit in London, and at virtually every children's party you would hear Gangnam Style.
True.
So I think Psy is definitely the best known, but people are getting to know more and more about K-pop. And I've had so many requests since I came here for from friends' children to send them CDs and recordings and so on and so on and so on. So I can tell you that K-pop is definitely growing in popularity, and I think people are understanding more about it. So this year at Glastonbury, which is I think still the world's biggest music festival, a Korean band, Peter Pan Complex, will be playing.
Oh, they are. I see. Well, then, do you also keep up with the K-pop scene with your children? No, not too much.
A bit, but not too much. I find I've got too many other things to do.
Well, maybe you should learn a Korean song, and then when you go back, you can sing it for the children and everyone there, and you'll become the hip, Psy from Korea.
I think my children will probably kill me if I tried.
Oh, really? Oh, no. Then what about dramas? Are Korean dramas also popular?
K-drama, I think it's becoming better known, but of course Korean films are increasingly well known in the UK, and there's a very popular film season, East Asian film season in the UK, which I think runs every October. And again, every year more and more Brits are getting to know more about Korean film.
Yeah, while we're talking about, the popular culture, what about Koreans and British culture? What's your perspective on Koreans seeing the British culture?
Well, one thing that has been really impressive for me since I arrived is how interested Korean people are in British culture of all kinds, from classical dance and drama through music and art. And in fact, this year we are running a year-long program of culture between the UK and Korea called Creative Futures. So I encourage listeners to have a look at the British Council website, and you'll find lots of different opportunities to experience British culture and arts this year.
Okay, we'll look forward to that. Well, now we would like to ask you a very important question. It's called the 나에겐 뭐뭐란 question in Korean. And it's a very common question that Koreans ask, aiming at asking a person about the significance of his or her dreams, passion, current job, etc. So I would like to ask you, Ambassador Hey, what is Korea to you? 대사님께 한국이란?
Wow. So this is my first job as ambassador, and as such, it's something I will never ever forget. And the relationship that I think that I've developed with Korea and Koreans, I think is deep and will last. It's also been a very important place for my children, who've grown up. They've grown up at a very significant age for them too here in Korea. So I think Korea will be part of our family forever.
Oh, so Korea is your family in a way.
I think so.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today once again. I mean, taking your time out, your precious time out to be here.
Thank you very much. I've really enjoyed it.
And of course, we would love to have you back sometime soon. So, yeah, we'll look forward to seeing you again.
Great. That would be a pleasure.
Okay, well, thank you so much. We'll see you again.
Thank you. Bye-bye.